I am 55 years old. And it's an awkward way to start because what I'm really hoping is that the majority of the audience will be going, really? Gosh, you look so much younger. I somehow fear that a good amount of the audience are going, 55? Wow, you've had a hard life, haven't you? The interesting thing for me is it's not really about how old you are, it's about what you've learned. And we have a formal part to our education. We went to school, and we went to college, and maybe we went to university, and we have that sort of more formal part of our learning. And also, maybe, like me, you have bought many self-help books, which you don't read, but you put on your bookcase in the hope that by osmotic pressure, somehow the information will get into you. But the key thing I found is that there are lessons all around. There is learning all around. There's learning in every day, in every way. There is just so much there. And over time, I've come to try and put that together. And I put it together in a simple formula. And it's called Lessons in Life from My Wife. And I would like to share 3 of those with you today. And they're all based on absolutely true stories and locations and a particular learning. I would like to take you to an apple orchard in Kent, where I learnt about feedback. I would like to take you to our Sunday lunch dinner table. And I would like to take you to the Italian lakes, because at the Sunday lunch dinner table, I learnt about my prejudices, and in the Italian lakes, I learnt about being present. And it starts with a day to remember. And I have a slight confession. I say lessons in life from my wife. This first one occurred much before that. The day to remember is the 27th of August, very important day. It's my birthday. And it occurred on the 27th of August, 1976. 1976, August was one of the hottest summers in the United Kingdom. And at that stage, I was going out with a girl, and she was a farmer's daughter. And in Kent, the Garden of England, they had sort of hops and fruit. And she said to me, she was slightly older than me, she said to me, if you come, I'm going to give you a really special present for your 16th birthday. So I'm kind of excited. And she said, come to the farmhouse, and I'll give you the present we'll have tea, we'll give you the present. So I come to the farmhouse, like, can I have my present? And she goes, no, I don't think it would be appropriate to give you this present in front of my parents. So I'm now feeling really excited. And she says, I'll tell you what, we'll go out for a walk into the apple orchard. The apples are just starting to ripen at that time, and I'll give you your present there. Great. So we go out into the orchard, and she lays down a rug, and she gives me my present. From the corner of the rug, she produced this. So I'm both nervous and excited and a little bit disappointed. And so I open it. She gave me, for my 16th birthday, a can of antiperspirant deodorant. Now, some of you might be wondering what happened next. I was wondering what was going to happen next in no uncertain terms. What actually happened next was that 8 years later, I married this woman on the 12th of May, 1984. We'd been married for 31 years. I knew her when I was 10. There are 2 explanations for this. One is that I'm incredibly loyal and faithful, and we're careful with our relationship, and we work hard at it. The other one is that I'm shit at picking up women. I'm going with the first one. Now, what was the lesson that I learned from this? Think about it. Think about how I was feeling. Think about how she was feeling. And this is all about feedback. We talk about that in business, and lots of stuff like, oh, feedback, it's so good, it's so positive. And it is. It absolutely is. But the real issue of today is everybody talks about, it's going to be positive feedback. No, it needs to be meaningful. And if it's meaningful, then that means at the moment of giving it, at the moment of receiving it, there is this very slight ouch and thank you. Because you will have somebody in your life that you really have been meaning to say something to, but it's like, I can't, it's all a bit difficult, I'll feel awkward. And if it feels awkward and if it feels tricky, then that is the very moment to say it. That was what I was feeling. It was so important to me. If she didn't care for me, she wouldn't have bothered giving me that particular gift. The gift of feedback, it might hurt a bit, and that's okay. The second place I'd like to take you is to our lunchtime table. Sunday lunch, quite a tradition in the UK. And after it, I want you to think about chocolates. Okay, chocolates. And I want you to think of a traditional box of chocolates. I went to her family many times after that, and obviously after we were married, and we used to maybe bring a box of chocolates. Now, I want you to think of a normal box of chocolate. You take it off, and there are 2 layers, okay? Now, there are basically 2 rules, and I need you to sort of just give me a sense of where you're at, okay? The first rule is that if you're passing around the chocolates, and the chocolate that you really like has gone from the top layer, okay, the first rule is you do have to complete that top layer. You have to grind through those lemon creams until you have kind of got through it, then you can, okay. That's rule number 1. And rule number 2 is if the top layer doesn't contain your favorite almond crunchy thing, then actually you can lift up and take it from underneath, okay? So we have finished the top layers, and we have diggers and delvers, okay? Now, by show of hands, I just want to see who is kind of finished the top layer because it needs to be finished before you go under. Okay, by show of hands. Okay, that's about 5% of you, okay? And who is a digger and delver? That's about 80% of you. Now, I'm very conscious that you shouldn't make judgments. Can I just have a show of hands for diggers and delvers again? You are wrong. You cannot do this. This is unacceptable behavior. I couldn't believe it. Her entire family are diggers and delvers. You're passing them round, and it's like, I've just shoved in a lemon cream, and it's like, no. It's like, stop it. Don't do that. What it taught me was about prejudice. Interesting word, prejudice. Prejudging things. That's where it comes from. I had my way, my rule, my family rule. This is the right way of eating chocolates. It is, by the way, but it's the right way of eating chocolates. Okay? What she taught me was, no, it's a way. It's a way. Supposing you took all the chocolates out and put them in a bowl. Then you can take whatever you want. We are full of prejudices that we bring with us, small or big. If you don't think you have one, then go to the Harvard Education site, their website, and look at their Project Implicit. They have something called the IAT, the Implicit Association Test. And that has all sorts of ISTS tests. Am I, racist? Am I fattest? Am I slimmest? Am I sexist? It doesn't actually have am I a chocolatist eater thing on it. But take the tests. You will be shocked. You'll be shocked about, actually, I have all of these prejudices which come with me. And for me, I found the important thing in life from this lesson was the concept of deal with them. You're not going to get over them, but deal with them. And understand your way is just a way, and her way is just a way. There is no right way of this. And the third lesson I'd like to share with you is on another day to remember, 12th of May, 2004. So it was our 20th wedding anniversary. Now, I do speeches, and that's my part of my work. And I got rung up by a big client of mine, a big company, Hewlett-Packard, who said, we'd like you to come and speak. And I said, great, that's no problem. And they said, it's for a big conference, and it's on the 12th of May, 2004. It was like, ooh, can I get back to you on that? I said, yep, fine. So I went and saw Janice, and I said to her, look, got this client, they're big, it's okay. And she said, yes, actually, it's fine. We've been married for 20 years, we've known each other forever, we're going to live together forever, so we'll just go out on another day. Oh, thank you, that's great. Now, what she didn't know was I rang up Hewlett-Packard and I said, look, is it all right if I bring my wife? And they said, yes, it's fine. I said, look, I'll pay. I'll pay for it. She said, that's fine. I said, great, it's a secret. Now, we have a family, so we had to kind of get things covered a bit. So, and she was working as a physiotherapist in a hospital. So I rang up her physiotherapist friends and I said, look, I'm taking Janice away on this secret holiday. Can you cover for her? Because she had patients and things. And they were all excited and say, oh, yes, we'll do that. And then I rang my parents, because we've got kids. I said, I'm taking Janice away, secret holiday. Fine. And then quite near the event, our kids were kind of 12 and so, and 10 and 6 at that stage. And I told them, I said, it's a secret, okay? Don't tell Mummy. And 12th of May was a Tuesday, okay? I was flying out on the Monday. So we're sitting at breakfast, and the children are really excited. And it's like, Janice, what's wrong with the children today? And we're talking, when's your flight? Oh, I'm going to leave at so-and-so. And I said to her, what are you going to do today? And she said, well, I got this weird thing. I'm on a course. I thought I'd been on this course, but the girls at work said I have to go on this course again. So, okay, fine, fair enough. I said, no, you're not. You're coming with me to the Italian lakes. And the children exploded with joy, and she was in tears, and I definitely knew I was going to get sex that night. So I was really, really excited. So we went off to the Italian lakes, to a place called Baveno. It's very beautiful. It's right on Lake Maggiore. And that night there was kind of this business dinner thing, and then on the Tuesday I was giving a speech. And then on Tuesday afternoon, there was kind of an extra seminar. They asked if I could do that. And then there was, again, business dinner that evening. And on Wednesday, they asked if I would cover for something and do a specific help with them on something. And so I said, yes, good client, etc. And on the Wednesday night, there was like the big dinner in the middle of the lake, because there's a big island in the middle of the lake. And I said to Janice, would you like to come? And she said, yeah, but will I know anybody? And I said, no, but it's a nice location. She said, don't worry, you go. So I went. And on Thursday, we caught the coach back to Milan Airport. And on the coach, she said to me, this was a beautiful location. This was a lovely event. The weather was lovely, the hotel was gorgeous. I just don't know why you bought me. And she was right. And the key lesson that it taught me was be present. In today's world, we are extraordinarily dispersed. Whether we're in business, we have businesses that could be in Berlin and Boston and Bangkok. You could have family all over the world. And the issue for me now is when you go somewhere is where you are simply judged by the 2 or 3 towers that triangulate in order to work out where your iPhone is and where your particular connectivity can occur so that you can then be in touch with the rest of what's going on. Or are you actually there? Are you present? It taught me about quality, not quantity, in terms of the relationships. Being there, really being there, even if it's for a short period of time, I learnt was so much more important than the volume of time. Strangely enough, Hewlett-Packard asked me back the following year at a very similar time. This time it was in Rome. Lovely. We did it differently. On that weekend, we went out on the Friday together. We had a lovely weekend in Rome together. Sunday night, I put her back on a flight to London, and I went to work. Being present. And those, for me, are 3 quite simple lessons. Feedback's so important, so critical for building and maintaining relationships. And at the point of giving it, sometimes it may be just a little bit, that's okay. Chocolates, I'm still not sure on. I really think diggers and delvers, you really need to just get with a real plan. But we all have our silly prejudices. But we think we're so right. We think they are right. They're just right to us, and others are right to others. And above all, be present, because in our busy world, that's how we can build relationships. Being present is where relationships actually occur. So, we've been married for 31 years. It's quite a long time. You get less for murder. And I applied for parole, but apparently not. The lessons still need to continue. Some lessons you learn, some lessons you need to learn again. And that's lovely. And I have this wonderful moment, which is one of those, if you want the definition of bittersweet, it's that moment when I get home from work, being away or something, and Janice says to me, I'll tell you what I've got. I've got a wonderful new lesson in life for you. And I hope I can still keep learning them. I'd like to thank you for listening to this, but most of all, I'd like to thank my wife.